All right, so we are back for the truth about Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and that other guy. Um, so I think it's fair to say that the majority of people in this world want some kind of change. They're dissatisfied with how things are. Um, we all want a better world. We want better living conditions. We want more financial equality. We want less exploitation. We want less oppression. We want more justice. We want more of all these things. Um, we want better healthcare. We want better access to healthcare, better schools across the board. We want all these things. Um, what we're lacking is the strategies to get there and viable ways to create that change. Um, and I would say if you polled people, a good 90% of people would want these things. They want to improve society in this world, but that doesn't correlate to how we are participating in the political process. For example, I got the numbers right here. Um, Congressional approval ratings at all-time lows, under 15%. Incumbent victories at all-time highs, with a lot of offices and politicians running unopposed. That means nobody even there is no competition for them, no alternative for them, um, and overall a low voter turnout of around under 40%, a little bit around 40%, and that's we're talking about national, state, and local elections numbers. So dissatisfaction with the political process, dissatisfaction with the way government is being ran, the laws that are being passed or not passed, but low voter turnout, low civic engagement. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Um, we we have to become more active. Now, in this upcoming presidential election, we're being reminded of this again. Obama has reminded us, presidents in the past have reminded us, now Bernie Sanders is reminding us. It is not enough just to get someone elected into the president's office. There has to be a follow-up in terms of civic engagement, in terms of electing Congress. Because Congress is where the laws are also shaped and passed. Um, Obama received a lot of criticism during his presidency for not getting some of his stuff passed. Had a lot of trouble with the health care, a lot of trouble with other things because he couldn't get it through a Republican majority Congress. So if we are dissatisfied, so Obama received criticism for that, but that's not Obama's job. It's our job, the people, to put who we want in Congress that represent our social values. If people are not representing our social values, if they're not passing the laws that we want to see passed, if they're not, enacting the things that we want to see enacted in terms of policy, we elect them and get them out of there. But we're not showing up to the polls. We're not showing up to the polls, and we're not providing alternatives. Okay, so we have to start putting these two and two together. It is absolutely our job to put people in Congress that represent our social values. Absolutely. Okay, that way you have a president's office, a Congress, a Senate, and a House of Representatives that are working in cohesion to create the laws and policies that we want to see. Okay, and I heard a very good way that somebody explained this once. I don't remember who it was, um, but when people do not participate in the political process, it creates and leaves a vacuum. And right now, that vacuum is being filled by elite corporate dollars, which is why all our laws and policies reflect the values of large corporations and large banks, because they're the ones influencing Congress to write the laws and policies that they want to see. Okay, but we have to take that back. The people, as a collective, we have to take that back. Collective action is how we get this done. It is no other way. I mean, there are other ways, but we don't want to do those. We don't want. That's not even in the conversation right now. The conversation right now is voter turnout. And listen, in the past, I've been very skeptical of this kind of civic engagement and voter turnout and things of that nature, and rightfully so, because it's not the end all be all solution to our social problems. It's not. It's a starting point. But in this particular cycle with November 2016, with the presidential election, the vice presidential election, all 435 seats in the House of Representatives, all, I'm sorry, 1/3 of the Senate up for re-election, we can overhaul the government in this one election cycle. And so if we're dissatisfied with the progress of our Congress, this election cycle is a cycle that we can get out, we can vote, we can get people in there who more reflect our social values. All right, and are not going to be resistance points for social progress, but are actually going to assist with social progress through the way they implement laws and pass laws. Now, so what does all that mean? It means we need collective action. It means we can't just talk about wanting to improve society. It means we can't just complain and sit back and say, you know what, this is messed up, that's messed up. We can't feel hopeless. We can't feel powerless. I'm just one person. Listen, we got to get out and vote. Okay, November 2016, we got to get out and vote. Right now, even in these Democratic caucuses, we got to get out and let our voice be heard, because there's a very big difference between Bernie Sanders in office with a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House of Representatives versus Hillary in that role versus that other guy in that role. People, honestly, I only put Donald Trump in the title to be provocative and get views. Anybody that's seriously considering voting for him this video is not for you. There's a whole nother level of enlightenment that needs to come before we even start to have this conversation, because that man, as a representative of our top leader representing the United States, he's a bigot, he's a hateful person, you know, just disrespectful to all kinds of people. I don't get that, but I see the difference, and you should see the difference between what our government and what our society could look like with these different scenarios, in terms of mixing between these different people running the country. A Democratic Congress plus Bernie Sanders as president, we can start laying the foundation to really do something positive for the majority of people. That's what he's been. The reason I'm optimistic about this is because he's been doing it through word and action for about 50 years. Through action, 50 years. All politicians give you the speech. Very little politicians give you the action. He has been about that action for about 50 years and consistent with his message. So we could do some positive things. This is a unique time in history. We could flip it for some positive things to happen. But we got to get out there and vote. We can't complain. We can't feel hopeless. We have to get out there. We have to get engaged, and just be informed and be engaged. I'm not even telling you who to vote for. I'm saying get informed, get engaged, and vote for somebody that reflects your social values. And I'm positive that if the majority of people get out and vote for somebody who reflects their social values, both in president and in Congress, we are going to be in a good place in a society, or a better place as a society, and start building a foundation to even build something greater. All right? Listen, we almost there, y'all. One love. The ancestors is watching. The ancestors is watching. They got us. They got our backs. They got our backs. Y'all see him. Peace.